Hello, everyone. This is Maria Simeone, and I really am so happy that you're here today. Today is really part two to a prior video on caring, loving presence. So if you haven't checked that out, I highly encourage you to do that, because what we're going to do today is speak to a particular part of the body that may need some extra love, or a part of you that might feel a little frozen or stuck. And we're going to speak to it with the affection qualities going beneath the words. And those affection qualities emerge from this place of caring, loving presence. And if you think about something in your life that you speak to with care and with love, it could be a person, it can be a plant, it could be a pet. Whatever it is, if you have a hard time accessing that to speak to yourself in that way, those are some good sort of substitutions or supports. But when we speak to ourselves from caring, loving presence, I'm here. Oh, I acknowledge you. There's like a da-da-da-da-dum. I'm here. Hello. How are you? Right? There's a rise and a fall that happens, a sing-songy or lullaby quality that emerges naturally. And when that happens, we hear that deep within our felt sense, from our body sense down deep into our felt sense. And there's an instinctual response of feeling safe, of feeling connected and nurtured. That's built into us because our very design is to be cared and loved and attended to. So when an attentive parent, usually the mother, speaks to her baby, oh, sweetie, yeah, right? Lullabies are also built on this kind of shape. The baby responds non-verbally, or vice versa. The baby gives the nonverbal response, coo, ka, whatever it is. The mama mirrors that, or the whatever parent or loving other mirrors that, either with or without words. And there's this rhythmic entrainment that goes back and forth, right, of mirroring and response. It has a very specific rhythm to it, and the two get into a groove with each other and an entrainment. And there's a lot of healing that comes from that, and a lot of oxytocin secretion, the love chemical, the bonding chemical. We do that for ourselves in speaking to a specific part of our body that needs extra love, just like we would speak to a baby in a nurturing way in this exploration. And then I'm going to follow this up with a quote that comes from Rediscovering the Lost Body Connection Within Christian Spirituality. That comes from the work of biospirituality. I'll put a note on that in the notes below if you want to check out that book. It's very helpful. But right now, I invite you to settle in. We're going to do this exploration of speaking to a part of yourself with care and with love. And it's not about pushing anything that feels a little uncomfortable inside, or some part of you feel like, oh gosh, my heart feels there's a tightness there. Oh, I want to speak to it and give it some extra love. The process that we're entering into is about being with it gently and letting it communicate with you and supporting it and seeing what ensues. And there is a certain amount of perhaps healing that can happen, wholeness, coming into wholeness, right? That interpretation of healing, because we're not fixing anything, we're not pushing anything away, we're not trying to change anything, none of that. We're being with it with gentleness, and that is a sacred and can be very healing process. So I invite you to get comfortable, to settle in, and preferably with your eyes closed. If you're not comfortable with eyes closed, then let your eyes rest gently on a spot away from you, or dim the lights, or maybe take a moment to light a candle. Whatever it takes for you to kind of go within, and that's the only reason we close our eyes. It can help us to go within, okay? And undisturbed probably for the next 10, 15 minutes or so, all right? So get comfortable. And we're going to also incorporate something called curious listening. That means listening through your whole body, just as you did as a baby. You listen through your skin, your bones, maybe even that part of you that you're going to speak to and interact with. Let your curious listening come into that as well. Maybe it's listening through your heart, listening through your belly, okay? This is an exploration, right? So we're not looking for any, correct way. In a sense, we're exploring, we're playing, we're discovering. Okay, so find yourself that comfortable spot. Connect into a long exhale as you soften the body and invite in that generous inhale. Softening the muscles around the throat, the chest, the belly, right down to the pelvic floor, allowing gravity to support you. So there's nothing to hold up. Gravity will hold you just fine as you bring your loving attention inward, right down the center of your being. Taking notice of a particular part of your body that is calling for your loving attention, or a particular part of your body that you would like to give your loving attention to. And take a moment even for your body to respond to that without letting your mind dictate what needs loving attention. And with your inside voice, from a place of caring, loving attention, say hello and name that body part. Saying hello, lovingly naming that part of your body from this place of caring, loving attention, and ask it how it's doing. How are you doing? How can I be with you? What are you needing? What are you needing or wanting fresh in this moment? And take time for this part of you to respond, letting go of anything that comes from the mind, just letting this part of your body respond in its own time while you listen with curiosity and love. And that response from your body, allow it to come, but without moving to words. So it will respond to what it most needs, perhaps through a long sigh or a murmur or a groan or a giggle whatever it is, just listen with curiosity and with love. And let it know I'm here, either verbally or non-verbally. Mm-hmm. I care. You're safe. That's interesting. Taking all the time for your body to express its needs to you non-verbally. And you listen and you respond with affection. And as you deepen this contact, take notice of how this part of you may want you to adjust how you're listening to it, adjust how you're responding to it, to come into an empathetic rhythm with it. Or whatever it may be. Just allowing for this synchronistic rhythm to emerge between your body's nonverbal expressions and your supportive affection qualities and curious listening. And as you allow this gentle, rhythmic empathy to grow and to deepen between your affection qualities and your curious listening with your body's nonverbal expressions, enter into a kind of a dance with it, playing and enjoying each other's interaction, or simply gently being with it in this synchronistic connection, resting where you need to rest, pausing where you need to pause, just like you would in a dance, or maybe just setting that baby, that sense, setting it down, maybe even just for a little bit, and returning to your breath. Just be sensitive to what's needed, fresh in this lived experience, this lived in moment. And if you feel the need to do a little empathetic gesture or swaying or rocking, any movement with the body, along with this nonverbal expression and the affection supportive qualities. And just allow that to join in as well as you reconnect to this part of you that's asking for love and attention fresh in this moment. And rest. And rest. And before you return to the room, let's take a moment to acknowledge any emotions that may have come up. Noticing if there was an expression of emotion, where that might be felt in the body, and if it helps, you can just gently place your hand there. And just paying attention to this emotion that may have arisen. And be with it. Just be with it. Sit with it just for a little bit and keep it company. And if it's helpful to put even just a little bit of distance from this emotion, feel free to do that. You're just acknowledging it. And take notice of how your body communicates this willingness to be with it in this very gentle and sacred way. The willingness of your body to be vulnerable and to be heard, and your willingness to come into loving presence with you fresh in this moment, and sense how your loving presence, the nonverbal communication, your body is all wanting to be held by you. And that is the sacred living presence of the divine, of the holy within, allowing you to be with it, acknowledge it, and be fully present and more fully alive. And take time to express gratitude and enjoy this gift of grace. Freely given. All right. So when you're ready, gently bring yourself back to the space. Thank you for spending this time with yourself and the sacred. And if you found this helpful, please feel free to share it and give it a like, leave a comment, etc. That all helps spread the work. So thank you so much for joining me. This is Maria Simeone.